So just last week, Gavin Newsom asked citizens not to charge their electric cars. Now, the irony, of course, is that Newsom is also set to ban the sale of gas-powered cars by 2035. So it's 2022 right now, 2035. That's 13 years, and you will not be allowed to purchase a gas-powered vehicle in the state of California. And it's gradual, too. So it's not just, okay, you have 13 more years from this. No, the California Air Resources Board issued these new rules. It's like the California version of the administrative state, the California executive state agencies. This is the new rule they issued. It requires 35% of new vehicles to produce zero emissions by 2026. That's just 4 years from now. Then by 2030, it has to be 68% of new vehicles produce zero emissions, and 100% of new vehicles have to be, gas-free, not gas-powered, zero emissions by 2035. So here, when I read this, I thought to myself, okay, so what California is claiming right now is that their electric grid, their power grid, their energy grid is overloaded. They can't even currently provide the energy that their citizens need. They're telling people not to use their air conditions, not to use their washer and dryer, not to use their stove and microwave. They're telling people if they don't do this, the situation is so dire that they're threatening people with rolling blackouts. But if you look at the numbers here, currently in the state of California, less than 2% of vehicles are electric vehicles. That means 98% of vehicles do not rely on the electric grid to operate right now. And yet, with 98% of cars not relying on the electric grid, the grid still can't keep up, to the point that Newsom is saying, please don't charge your electric vehicles, the 2% of vehicles that actually are electric vehicles. People are being told to turn things off or face these blackouts. My question is, what happens in California when more stress is placed on the grid when we go from 2% of cars being electric vehicles to 35%, and then 68%, and then 100%? How exactly does Gavin Newsom plan to compensate for the amount of energy that will require, which is an enormous amount of energy, when he can't even supply people with enough energy to run their laundry? Gavin Newsom is trying to force the state to ban gas-powered vehicles, but also asking citizens not to charge their electric cars. So you know what's going to happen is Newsom will actually force people not to charge their electric vehicles when everyone has an electric vehicle, meaning that the government will be in such entire control of your life that you actually won't even be able to leave your house. Is that not the definition of tyranny, when the government has control to that extent?